All right, my Alpha Futures family, we are back with another one of our top performing traders here today. My name is Ben. For those of you who don't know, I'm the COO of Alpha Futures. Who am I here with today?
Hey, it's Bryce.
Awesome.
Bullish Bryce.
Bullish Bryce, I love it. Love the hoodie.
Discord.
I recognize the bull with the dollar sign from the Discord and everything. So Bryce is one of our top performers to date. Bryce, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just checked the total right before we hopped on. Just shy of $44,000 in payouts with us now.
Yeah, it's right around
Awesome.
there. Yeah.
Yep,
Sounds
and
right.
actually the owner of the largest singular payout with us so far, which was just under 26,000. So obviously, kind of one of the kings of the group so far. We love to see it. Appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. But Bryce, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do for work? All that good stuff.
Hey, thank you for having me. Yeah, I live in California also, so I'm over here in the West Coast with you. I've been trading. It's about 6 years now. Yeah, coming on 6 years. I started with Forex for most of that time. I just switched over to futures last year, and I've been going hard for. I only quit once. It was after my first 6 months. I said, "Man, this is rigged. This is rigged." And then I quit. I quit for 6 months. I was like, "I'm not trading no more," because all I did was lose. And then when the pandemic came, I think everybody kind of was bored, and that's the first time the way I was taught trading was on my phone. My friend taught me how to trade, and so I didn't even know. Like, I got on the computer and started actually drawing some lines, and the first thing I traded was support resistance.
Okay.
And I was like, wait a minute, this is actually doing something here, and it was I started winning with just support resistance, but it was like a crazy it was because I come from a poker background. I played a lot of poker, like for a decade. I wouldn't say professional, but I did pay a lot of my bills poker, and
Nice.
it kind of translates to trading too, and that's the reason why I switched over. Was I met a friend of mine, and she showed me she turned 5K into 50,000 in a week trading US 30, and I was like, wait a minute, I can't do this. I can't do this playing poker in a week, I was like, and so that's how I originally got interested in it.
Awesome.
But yeah, so just during the pandemic, I started trading. Support resistance was one of my first strategies, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. Now, what made you transition from Forex to futures?
I was very hesitant, but it was like a blessing in disguise, no doubt. It was when because I was a MetaTrader guy, I had all the magic keys. I had everything. I knew all my buttons, everything was set up the way I traded, and I loved the magic keys, with the MetaTrader, just the way to execute really fast, and I was just so used to, and plus GJ was my baby, that was my number one thing to trade. But I did trade NAS also, so it wasn't when I switched over, it wasn't completely I knew how to trade NAS, but it was really weird because just the point it changes your strategy up, because we're used to pips being $1 or $2 a point, and all of a sudden you're over here you're playing around with NQ and it's $20 a point. And I'm like, what the, it's really really different. But anyway, when all the prop firms went down, or when they started taking MetaTrader off of the platforms, and you had to switch platforms, and also some of those, my last straw was one of the prop firms was you're banned, you can't trade with us anymore or whatever, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go over to futures and see what it's like. And that was a big learning curve too. It was pretty tough to switch platforms and learn a whole new copy trader, all that stuff. I went down that rabbit hole really really deep, spent a lot of time and money, errors, copy
Yeah,
trading
of course.
errors, and yeah, it was rough. It was around April or May, around that time.
Got it. Well, it definitely paid off for you. And you mentioned support resistance, kind of what you learned with and stuff. How would you describe your strategy now, if it were just to be a couple sentences?
Well, that was that was back then, and then I went to supply and demand. I mostly traded supply and demand was when I started finding um, some more kind of consistency. But if it wasn't for futures, is what I came up with my own strategy now. I trade on the 1 minute, and I call it VMR for volume market structure risk reward. So I have my own system now where it's basically it's a lot trend trading, like going with but it's on a 1 minute structure. Like I read structure well, but like everything I learned in Forex with the high, like the high time frames, it's just is exactly the same, but it's on a 1 minute. So you just got to be quick, and you got to be like, you can't be hesitant, because it happens pretty quickly.
Sure. So mostly trading on the 1 minute. Are you trading mostly New York Open, market opens and close? I'm assuming you mentioned volume in particular. I'm assuming you're right towards the open or right towards the close.
Yeah, New York is I'm gonna say that New York's my best session. It's like from the open for like maybe a 5 a.m. our time till 8.
Okay.
So like 8 Eastern till 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the best. That's the time that I should be trading. Let me say, but I do kind of open the charts when I shouldn't. And if I see something, I'll trade. I'll trade agent. Like I think the thing with me is like I know where the volume is at on every session. Like I know when the volumes kick in. It's kind of bad because I'm like I wake up and I'll look at something and then it's a bad habit. I'll take a trade and end up it's not worth it. But
for sure,
I'll fix that.
I found myself doing the same. I've kind of made it a rule for myself, like no trading the Asian session at all. Even though we get some great moves during Asian session, you know what I mean? Like we get 1% and 2% gap ups all the time. But I just feel like the read for me is not the same at all.
Yeah, it's different, and it's slow too. You kind of like wasting your time. Like you're spending like sometimes you sit there and wait for like hours, and something that could happen in New York for like in 5 minutes. You know?
Right. It's usually like, people just trying to, because I mean the S&P 500 we know, right? It moves more overnight than it does during the New York session. Like on a gain per yearly, right? On an annual basis, it does move more overnight. But you're right, the move will take the full 8-9 hours to make the move that it might make in 1 hour in New York, but the net gain's still larger throughout the year during the Asian sessions with those overnight gap ups and gap downs. But yeah, I've definitely found the same. New York's definitely where I'm most comfortable as well. The hours aren't really ideal no matter what for us on the West Coast, right? It's either like very early Asian session or you got to get up early for New York. So I kind of go for the latter as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
when I was trading supply and demand at London was cool because like around 11 or midnight you can kind of get something before bed, and sometimes you can let a runner go and it goes to New York.
So I guess tell me a little bit more about your futures prop firm journey, because I know you have traded with others. How many firms are you funded with? I know you've tried out quite a bit. I guess just give me some insight into there, because we know you've done over 40,000 with us. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing what you've done all time prop firm payouts.
Yeah, it's over. I've been paid out with 7 firms and over 200K.
Nice. Good for you.
It should be 300K, but we my Forex funds they kind of got me on their max. I guess we can talk about that. I mean, that's like you guys, like my 26 or whatever I got paid with you guys, like was off of like a 30,000. I think with the pay cut, like the 70%, and that's like almost as much as my Forex funds. They offer supposedly the same, account, yours, that they're expert or whatever. But I had a 100K payout that they somewhere in the hidden rules, it maxes out at like 25 or 30K or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it kind of put a sore taste in my mouth this month. Sure. I kind of went on tilt a little bit. It was a bad month for me just because of that. It was weird because anyway. So but they did pay. I guess the only problem I had with them is their Discord. They say, oh, there's no payout cap request. It's kind of misleading, If they didn't say all that and they just told me, hey, in the fine print, it was I would have been fine with it, I mean, I wouldn't be fine, but I'd be less bitter about her.
Bit of a heads
Yeah.
up. Yeah. I mean, just to let you know, right? We obviously value you as a trader, customer, user with us. With the live program and stuff, some sort of sim payout cap will be on the way. That will be directly in our policies, though, that you guys will be able to read it. You know what I mean? That's where I would agree is payout caps. We understand the sustainability in the space and stuff, and I mean, we see payout caps as low as 1,200. I promise you, we won't do that low. 1,200 to 5,000 has kind of become the norm. I can say we're gladly going to beat that as well, so we'll still be well above the industry norm. But you guys will know the second that goes live, the second that is implemented, that will be available public information right on our policies. I think that's the bigger issue here is for sure. I mean, you made 101,000, if I remember correctly, and they only paid you out 28. Like, that doesn't really sit right with most people.
It's a big milestone too, you know, like 100K, like that's like benching 225 for the first time in your life.
Yeah.
Just like, I just put up 4, but you know, it's like a milestone, and it's like, you know, they kind of took that away, I guess. And the whole time I was like, man, I wish I would have done that with Alpha. I know they would have paid me. You know. And then it's bad because I've been chasing, like, my mindset has been off. So like I don't normally go for your advanced plans, but this whole month I was like trying to get advanced. I was like, man, I was chasing that money. That's bad. So my whole mindset got thrown off a little bit for sure this whole month off that and off another company. I'm just gonna get through the bad companies first, since we already started with this one, right? So, like, there was the other company, Tick Trader. They paid me once, and then the second time I went around so they owed me like 6K I was supposed to make, and they came up with some BS rule. You're associated with some other trader. I don't know. It was like no point in arguing. Like, once they say that, I already know that they're not gonna pay me, you know. So but their Discord also, you can tell, like, if you go in a company and you want to scope out how they're doing, all you got to do is just go in the Discord and hang out with them for a week. You can see how calm, like, Alpha is, you know. Nobody, it's so calm in there, you know. It's like, and you go to one that's always, hey, why is my payout, it's like, and, you know, why is it delayed? Like, all this stuff is like all red flags, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I never bought anything from FT or whatever, that fast track. I never bought it because I just sat there and I looked at their Discord and I was like, man, this don't seem right. This stuff's all, you know.
It was a wild place in there. I was in that Discord at the time, just for same reason, just interested in what was going on. And you're right. I mean, that's why. You mean, like, I'll be transparent. We do ban people from our Discord. It's only people that are pushing some sort of product or like swearing a lot, though. You know what I mean? So when I also don't ever try to claim no payout denials, right? Because we have rules that are public. You can see them on the site. If you don't follow the rules, yes, your payout will be denied. Now, most of our policies are like a one-time warning. We'll give you another shot. Go ahead. Like, hey, here's your warning. Don't do it again. Next time the account will be breached. We really don't have too many run-ins of people doing it a second time. But that's how we like to operate. Like, I don't like hiding behind the statement, like, no denials, because that's just not true. That's not sustainable for the space, right? As long as you follow the rules, we'll pay you. You will not be denied. But to act like there's zero denials, I think that's something that some firms out there have tried to rely on a little too much. Like, never any denials here. Then if you dig a little bit deeper, you know, you can see some on Twitter that they've quieted down. Some on Discord, they ban the people right away. So, I mean, I can tell you, like, our denials are obviously a very, very low percentage. But I never go, you know, ban those people in the Discord. Because if they want to express what happened, I have proof of, no, look, you broke this rule at this time, at this date with this trade. I'll let you keep the account because of XYZ. Go ahead, try again. And if you want to voice to the Discord, like, oh, I got denied today, that's cool too. But, like, we are prepared to show that proof on our side as well, which I've even tried to do. We only have 2 negative reviews, but they still bother me. They're stuck in my head. We have 2 negative reviews, but even in the Discord, I tagged all of you right away. I was like, hey, here's exactly what happened. Here's how they reacted. This is why. Like, you guys can take whatever side you want, but here's all the proof, just so we can all move on without being like, what did they do to that person? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I've gotten payouts with, let me just list it now, kind of like Apex, Top Step, Alpha, Take Profit, Tradeify.
Nice.
So Tick,
And we know My Funded Futures in there too.
Yeah, My Funded Futures. That was him. My Funded Futures. Yeah, that was the one. So out of that group, like, you know, obviously Top Step is number one right now. I think if anyone's list who don't have them as number one is skeptical, I think it's kind of like, but you know, they're there for a reason. They've been
They're
there
the
over a
industry
decade,
standard.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're number one. But actually, like, when they changed their rules to the 5K cap, you know, for each account, that made you guys, like, I had them like this, but you guys, like, after, because now you're like this with them. It's just time, you know, you don't have as much time in the space as them.
Right.
But like with the no payout cap with your accounts, it makes you really close to them actually. Apex, they were my first, like, one of my big payouts. You know, my first one. I'm grateful for their crazy rules because that's how I came up with my strategy.
Okay.
Technically, because the trailing drawdown was killer coming from like FX. You know, like FX firms, like we don't. Anytime we saw trailing drawdown, we stayed away from those accounts. You know, like it was mostly like the one phase accounts. You know, like any of the good two phase accounts is never a trailing drawdown.
Right.
But like I couldn't, like I was like, so my strategy actually was made to beat the trailing drawdown. You know, like it was quick, like 1 to 1, 1 to 2.
Minute. That makes sense.
Like and so because of that, but then like when I ventured out and used it with a little bit more freedom, I was like, oh shit, like I'm making money over here and over here, you know. So
money,
so I'm never going back to. I mean, thank you, but and plus their rules are. I think it's. I really don't understand why people are over there because I still in their Facebook and I see like, oh, they denied me because of this. Like they already have the consistency rule, but also like another 30% if you go and draw down in your account, you're not allowed. I'm like, whoa, this is is crazy.
Yeah, tighter consistency rule at 30% already. Like their consistency rule is 30, and then the drawdown 30% one. I haven't traded with them since they put that in either. I could never really get a hang of the intraday trailing drawdown myself as somebody that, you know what I mean, I hold trades for hours. An intraday trailing drawdown can get you on a break-even trade. You know what I mean, with a trailing drawdown like that. So that's obviously why we went with the end-of-day structure at our firm, because most of our product is built around just things I struggled with or things I liked from things I tried in industry. And obviously, you know, like My Funded Futures, Top Step, those were mostly who I was trading with. They had the end-of-day drawdown. I really liked it. The one thing I didn't like was that the 50K, 100K, 150K all had different profit target to drawdown ratios. So that's obviously why we standardize across the board. All of our accounts are 6% target, 4% drawdown, because I just didn't feel it was fair. It was like, hey, if customers are willing to pay more, why are they being put at a disadvantage on the higher accounts? Just make your prices reflect a similar profit target and drawdown ratio across all of them. And even if you look at some of the other advanced and expert accounts in the space, ours does the same on our advanced account. Yes, it is a higher profit target, but it's still more drawdown than everyone else in the industry, and it's end-of-day based. So we just try to be consistent with that. It was like, hey, if users want to pay for a bigger account, that is up to them, but don't put them at a disadvantage with the profit target and drawdown ratio. That never made sense to me. Which, you know what I mean, that's obviously what our products try to address in this space. So I'm glad you're enjoying them.
Yeah, and also that like one thing that you guys have, no one else has, that you know, the payout within the buffer. Mm-hmm. That's pretty huge if you have the patience to get that money back. You know, you can get your payout back and then you know, like the patience to sit and get your payout.
Yeah, really just or even to have the approach of taking base hits, right? Like we have no problem paying out large payouts and stuff. Like we talked about, paid you out 26 grand in one payout. We have no issue with that. Like home run traders, completely fine. That's some people's strategy. But if you take small base hits, again, that didn't make sense to me in the industry with that maximum loss limit sliding up to zero. Even if you take a $300 payout, because you're just making your risk back. You should have the freedom to be able to do that. So, you know, I feel like it's almost like a nice little medium between the Forex space when your account resets every time you get all your drawdown back. Yeah. And, you know, if you grow an account up 15 grand, yeah, it does make sense. You shouldn't be able to risk all 15 of that and then just try to make it again, you know, so you should protect some profits. But yeah, that is a nice little way that we thought, you know what I mean? The people that take consistent base hits deserve to be rewarded. You basically turn the funded stage into a second evaluation, in my opinion, with that rule that slides to zero after first payout. So that's what I was really trying to avoid. I was like, hey, if we're going to call these one-step evaluations, they need to be one-step evaluations, which I feel like the rest of the space is not right now.
And that's what, and see, you have a lot of experience with the FX props. You were successful with those, and I think that helps you make it with what we have now with the Alpha. It's really good because everywhere else they don't we understand that a lot of these one steps are really two steps because you got to make the buffer. So it's cheaper and all that, but really it's not one step because you got to make the buffer before you can make the payout. Where in the FX props you don't need a buffer, right? It's like so and this is more like a blend, a merge, Also, I really enjoy the Project X platform you guys and Top Step use, and it's really nice to see how much you're gonna lose. Like when you put in you can drag it and see how much you're gonna lose at your tops. You can really adjust. You can add positions and know how much you're gonna lose. That's the one thing I don't like when I'm trading on the these, like when I use Trade of 8 or Trading Views. I can calculate it, but sometimes it's so fast when I enter a position. Like I want to know how much I'm losing if I slide my stop loss and stuff like that.
Yeah, the one-click trading is nice. I mean, that's almost like, again, another blend coming from the FX space.
Yeah.
It's like MetaTrader had, and I was like, I still don't understand why every trading platform in the world doesn't have it, but nice thing Project X does have compared to everyone else,
Yeah, it's strange because the Trading View, on my personal account, I can drag it and see it.
Right, the limits.
But for some reason on the prop firms, when you use the Trade of 8, it doesn't do it.
Oh, really?
I can actually drag it, how on in the paper trading, how you can drag and see it, but on the prop firms it doesn't let you drag it at all. But on my personal account I can drag the lines. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's something the prop firm sets, or I guess you'll find out. You can find out.
Oh yeah, we've got Trade of 8 on the way with TradingView now, so I will find out.
So I'm kind of interested. To see why almost all the prop firms you can't drag that line, but on my personal you can.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check. We're in testing right now at Trade of 8, so I'll have to check that out for myself because that is interesting for sure. But that's one of my favorite qualities of Project X, no doubt. I use them at Top Step and whatnot. They've been great.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely a big fan. Now, Bryce, would you be willing to share screen at all? Maybe walk us through a trade you took this week or something like that?
Let me see. Yeah, we can do that. So basically, my strategy, I'm waiting for, I'm reading structure, right? Market structure. So right here, market structure is showing this down, right? It broke. So it broke the structure here and here. So we're going bearish, right? So so the way my strategy works is I have a swing point here. In real time it's gonna look like this. So in real time, it's gonna look like this, where so I'll have a swing point, right? Here, and here. Okay, and then I'll wait for it to come back up, in my zone right here. My entry zone. So I'll take a sell.
Nice.
And then my stop loss will be up here.
Right.
Up here. And the TP will be
so those set entry zones and stop loss, is that just based strictly on price action, or are you using points there? How are you setting those?
Yeah, from here, it's just from reading the market structure, the volume. So, once I see it moving, once I see it moving, I'll pick swing points, like the
Right.
top and the bottom.
Yep, yeah, like I can
And
see
then
that high as a stop
yeah.
loss makes sense to me. I just
Mhm.
didn't know if you have, right, like stop losses 10 points from the original entry zone. I see you
Oh,
have a
okay.
second entry zone. I just didn't know how you set that up. 'Cause
Okay,
it
so
seems like it's
this,
a predefined tool, right?
yeah, I made that.
Cool.
So basically, it's more like a risk reward,
Okay,
right?
cool.
So like this entry zone, like from here to here, you're guaranteed a 1-to-1.
Hmm.
From this line from here to here, stop loss. It's more like a risk reward ratio thing, and it's like 1-to-2 here.
Got it.
So, and then so usually like at like 1-to-1 right here, I either take it or set it to break even.
Hmm.
This is what I do, and then yeah. So what time is this? Yeah. So I took it down here somewhere. TP
Cool.
down here. It's real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much with everything we were talking about, the trailing drawdown, getting used to it and stuff.
Yeah.
But nice, with that VMR tool you got here with your strategy, is that just like years of trial and error, or how'd you go about building that? Or strictly just risk reward and mark it up?
No, I think that one I just from years, like like the way I see trading is like we have years of experience, right? So like so we know how to pass, shoot, and dribble basically, right? And then you play the game, like you figure it out, and then I just figured this out from because it's just something I kept seeing like when I was trading. So it kind of like I knew market structure. So like like I use these like gaps basically on a 1 minute, also fair value gaps.
Yep, yeah, I noticed those.
So that's part of my strategy too. Like
Yep.
if it's there, but basically putting it all together and just it's on the 1 minute, and it works. It works for these futures because there's so much money and data in this 1 minute candle, like compared to like a 15-minute GJ candle. It's probably the same. You know what I'm saying? Like the same. Like the candles, the structure's gonna hold like in the 1 minute, also.
Right,
So
well,
it's really
people don't realize CFDs, right, by definition, it's just made up prices, and the market's going to get you in at hopefully something relevant, right? I feel like most people don't understand that. Futures are a real existing asset, so that's why the structure should hold a little bit better, like you're saying. And that's why you hear some
Yeah.
people come over from FX and be like, oh, the price action is just so much cleaner. It's because you're trading a real asset. CFDs,
Yeah.
you were just hoping you get quoted at some decent asset prices, which is crazy to me. Like, once I understood that is kind of when I stopped trading CFDs personally.
right.
So, yeah, that's kind of when I got away from the CFD space. And obviously everything that happened with the U.S. and accessibility, like you said,
Yeah.
forced us out eventually. But thankfully, I had actually already made my way into futures at that point. Once I kind of just educated myself a little bit more on what CFDs actually were, you know?
Yeah. And if I was taking this trade on a FX broker, I would have got stopped out for some reason.
Sure.
That's one thing I noticed for sure in futures. Like I put my stop loss right there, and you see how like that won't knock me out.
Yeah.
Like that little, it won't knock me out. And it's
Yep.
like for some reason I felt like I don't know if they have. I always thought sometimes I was cheated. Like I felt like it just like maybe it's the spread that just was so
Yeah.
wild, But
I mean, you're right. There have been cases that in the CFD space, like yes, there were lawsuits that come out of this that they made up some prices, but I think traders need to understand that's also what you sign up for trading CFDs, and I think not enough people realize that. Like it's a contract for difference, right? That's what it means, and you're getting some sort of leverage to an existing asset, but you're not actually trading that asset. So that's what you're
Yeah.
signing up for when you trade CFDs, and that's what I think when people always jump to blame the brokers and stuff. Yes, there absolutely are some examples out there. 99.9% of the time, though, it's just the market you're trading. The spreads can be erratic at any single point. The more volume and volatility there is, the wider those spreads
Right.
get. Even in futures, a lot of people again come over from CFDs being like, "Oh, there's no spreads in futures." Not true. That's not true. Every single market that has buyers and sellers will always have a spread. It's just very, very tight in futures, and that's like what you're saying you've experienced. Is like, yeah, I get stopped out where I should. I get filled where I should, just because of that regulated, centralized data. right? But there is a spread in futures, and I think a lot of beginners come over and like, oh, there's no spread. Not true. It's just so tight. Most of the time, people don't notice, but it does absolutely exist. And we were talking about the Asian session market earlier. That's typically the only time I truly notice spreads in futures, just because it's lower volume at those times. That's obviously going to cause widening spreads. There's less buyers and sellers. Even then, on like NQ, typically see like a 2-point spread, and then during New York hours, we see like a 1-tick spread. So that's why you never really run into much.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's really traders not educating themselves enough on what they've signed up to trade. And like we said, I'm sure there are some brokerages out there and stuff that unfortunately do create those massive slippage events, and that fill might just be there to ruin the trader. You're right. 99.9% of the time, though, in my opinion, at least my experience in the CFD space, it's really just a lack of understanding of what I signed up to trade. So that, again, was a huge reason why I transferred over to futures. It's just a better understanding of what I was actually trading.
Yeah. And the guys that only trade gold and NAS and US 30, like there's no reason why they shouldn't be over here trading futures. Like the leverage is, I think the misconception is like you don't get the leverage, but it's a lot that we do get.
Yep,
and the way the points are, it's $20 a point, or like or the micros are $2 a point. It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot higher leverage actually. You get access to on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. Dow, it kind of depends on the broker and the leverage you're getting. But then the last people to really come over, in my opinion, have been the gold traders, just because they've been so used to XAU, USD for so long. That's what they see gold as. But again, like we just talked about, the existing true asset is /GC. XAU USD is just based off of GC. That's what those charts are based off of. So I agree. I want to see more gold traders come over to futures because, again, I think there's a lack of understanding of what they're actually trading. GC is going to give you better fills. It's going to give you better price action. So I totally agree. I want to see more gold traders come over to futures, no doubt.
I think just people don't. It's like I said, I wouldn't have. It took someone kind of twist my arm, or whatever. A lot of stuff for me to switch over, because you're so used to, you're spending years.
Right.
It's tough to make a change,
Absolutely. Yeah, but from what I've noticed, I think gold traders are the most stubborn. A lot of NASDAQ and ES traders have made easy transitions. The GC transition should be just as easy, but they do seem to be like the most stubborn group in my experience of people I've talked with and everything.
Yeah, well, you got to be special personality to be trading gold anyway.
Yeah.
I got wrecked. I got bad experience with gold.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people do. But
yep, I have a tough time with gold as well.
Yeah.
I mostly stick to Nasdaq and the S&P 500 personally. That's what I'm most comfortable with as well. Cool.
But gold is what actually brought me back. Like when I came off of the pandemic, like I was trading gold. It was
cool.
Different. I was trading. It was crazy. I was trading. There was this broker that gave you 1 to 2,000 leverage.
Wow.
And I was just coming off from playing poker, so I tried to transition it over, and it was working what I was doing, but it was just really stressful. It was so I was just pretending like I had a buy-in poker, and with $500, I see aces, I'm all in. With that 1 to 2,000 leverage, I would sometimes pop it up to 1,500, and then I would take it off the table, basically start over with 500. I did this. I remember the first month I made 10K, right, starting with 500, and I thought that this was 5-6 years ago, and I thought I had made it. I'm I'm gonna be rich,
right? Yeah,
this is it. I'm in my mind, I'm oh man, I know I got it, man. I did, man. Downhill off of there.
Cool. So one last thing while we have the charts open here, because I always ask traders just other questions they want to ask other traders. So it looks like you're operating somewhere around probably a 1.5 risk reward ratio on average. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Cool.
1 point. I mean, it for the most part, that's my main strategy. If I'm trading I'm supposed to New York session, it's like 1-1, 1-2, and sometimes I'll let them, you know, if anything at 1-1, I'm always putting it at a break even, and I'll trail it. You know, like if we get a good move, I just trail it, and then I'll get stopped out.
Nice.
But yeah, but sometimes when I'm in London, I do get those long. For some reason, you know, because I'll catch one of those big moves in London sometimes, and I just let it run sometimes.
Nice.
You know? But
and what about hit rate, right? Because the reason I ask is just like when I talk with traders that have been around a little bit more, we always understand, right? It's always just a balancing act between hit rate and risk reward, and it's up to the trader how they want to handle that, right? Like some traders are only a 30% hit rate or lower, really high risk reward.
Yeah.
Somebody like you know, I mean, I'm just interested to hear what are you typically aiming around for a hit rate?
like the winning percentage?
Yeah, winning percentage. Yeah.
It's hard. Like it's about 80. Like I had guys that back test it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't back test really. I forward test. Like if it's working, I do it. But like it's hard for me to like, cause the way I trade the prop firms is like I use the whole everything as my risk, you know, like, so let's say I have like 17 funded accounts, like I treat those as one entity.
Mm-hmm.
So I might take a trade on one account, and I might lose the account, but it was really only 2 or 3%.
Got it.
So I don't have like, it's hard for me to keep track of like my win, you know, because sometimes I'll lose the account and then
Yeah, sure.
I redo it. I like add it back. So like it's hard to get statistics that way because like all the records are gone once you lose an account.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been the type to. I actually don't like what do you call it? Like journal my. I don't journal my trades really. Yeah, not yet. I probably will moving forward because I'm trying to tighten up. So
yeah, it's always good for discipline and habits, right? I mean, I even find myself too. You've been on a good win streak, obviously, great payouts from us. That's almost when I even found myself kind of letting off the gas a little bit for my good habits because I'm like, sweet, I just made, you know what I mean? I just made a $50,000 payout. I'm good. Like I'm on a hot streak. I can do whatever I want. That's typically when we get humbled, right? And we kind of got to put ourselves back in check.
Yeah, like this month is really like what got me, because like I realized, okay, my psychology got thrown off, and if I had like a good process or a better process in place, it wouldn't have, you know.
Yeah.
Like some of these, like on one of my accounts that I've traded, it had really strict rules on them. You know, it was like one of these, you know, the ones that are straight to funded. They're really strict, 20% consistency, all this really strict. But those are the ones that did well for me in January. So I'm thinking, you know, I need to kind of model a little bit more, you know, like this. So when their psychology's off, if you have the process in place, you know, it's like, you know, you're gonna be fine, you know. But I guess I'm hot and cold, you know. Like when I'm running really good without a good process in place, it like really, like, you know, like really does well, you know, really do well. But there are times when it's bad, it's not good, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But
Sweet. So if you want, we can stop sharing screen now. We can kind of just get back to some general questions, and then I won't take too much more of your time because I appreciate all the time you have given me so far. So why don't we talk a little bit about, you know, what brought you to Alpha? What have you liked about Alpha? What do you want to see us continue to do or change in the future? Just kind of tell me about your Alpha experience in particular. We went over kind of general prop firms, but what about your Alpha experience?
yeah, I think one of the main reasons why I even looked at you guys was the Alpha name, the Alpha, because I knew about Alpha Capital, you know, and I was like, well, they're pretty solid, you know, like good reputation. So that was like the first thing, and then the second thing is just, I started digging into your rules, and a lot of the payout cap, that was probably like, I mean, the buffer, that was probably one of the main reasons why was that buffer was really appealing. Like payout in the buffer, like that's, so basically you're funded, you know. When you're funded, you're funded. It's not a two-step. Like a lot of people don't realize it's not a one step. It's really a two-phase. If you're coming from FX, then you know it's like a two-phase. It's not, you know, that's why they're so cheap, you know. And then a lot of them are cheap because they make you with the rules, you know. But yeah, that was a big plus. And then I think, yeah, and then I just started using it, and then the payouts were super smooth. Oh yeah, you get paid fast. Like nobody wants to wait a week or 2 weeks to get paid. You know, like that's. I think all of us appreciate getting paid fast, and that was a big thing. Alpha paid very quickly. Even the 2000 and the 26 was the same time. You know, like you guys didn't mess around. You know, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just you guys are new, but it feels like you guys are definitely. You can tell that you guys are like in the middle. Like you want to be with the traders, but you also have a business to run, and you guys are running it like that. You know, it's like it's very fair. Not trying to give away money, but you're not trying to steal money. You know, it's
Right.
like everything is
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I hope you guys do with your live. I hope you guys. I don't know about Top Step, but because they might really like. Just from my experience, like MFF, basically the live is your way out. It's like we put you to live, and basically I'm not allowed to buy anymore after I was done with their live. Yeah, a lot of these places they just like a way to boot you out, which is it's just not. I don't know. I just hope you guys have a way to keep your traders and maybe in a way have them actually make money for you guys.
Yeah. So that's what exactly. I almost think the live program, like the 90% splits and stuff, have almost gotten too aggressive in the traders' favor, and that's why they just boot them off. You know what I mean? Like right away, because the firm's not making any money at only 10% on their live traders. So that's what they're like, hey, we'll give you $10,000 worth of risk. If you blow that, we'll never see you again. Bye. I do.
Done.
I do agree with the approach. You should be live or you should be sim funded. That's probably the approach we will be taking. You'll be seeing all kinds of announcements come out about this and everything. But I agree. Like we're working on incentives for our live traders. You know what I mean, like monthly salaries. The split won't be 90-10 because that's not sustainable for the firm to actually make money. We want you guys to stick around for a while. And thankfully, the team in London, I mean, has a ton of connections throughout the city with traditional prop firm traders, people that have been in the legit prop firm industry, like not like sim funded, what we've gotten used to in the retail space, for 30, 40 years. And we're looking to rely on those resources to build a legit firm that people can come trade with, That's really what we're looking to do, is to bring the talent from this sim retail prop space, because there are quite a few gems out there, right? How do we bring those people into an environment that they can learn from traditional prop traders that have been doing it for 30 years? How can we get these guys brought to the next level with them,
Even prop firm. So it's a big difference between like I think between like the prop firm trading and like trading personal, for instance. I don't know. Do you play poker at all? Or
No.
Okay, so there's like. It's in the poker world. There's like you have tournament players, and then you have like cash game players, and it's like the tournament players. There's a skill set with that, and that's how I see prop firm trading is versus personal. Like if you put like a tournament player into like the cash game, it's like the same game, but it's like it's a little different. They'll like lose a lot. It's kind of like the way I see it, and like. So there's like, I think if you guys could find like a way to transition, like you're also like maybe a space to transition these prop firm into eventually going, because eventually you want to trade your own personal capital, but like somehow find a way to be that bridge. I think that would be awesome. Right now, there's no bridge. You're either prop firm trading, doing well, and then they either boot you or you have to figure it out on your own. But it'll be cool if you guys can find a way to bridge, like keep your good traders, because they're not even like ready. Because I'll be honest, like this last month I tilted and I put some like my personal account got crazy. Like it's not the same. But yeah, I think it'd be cool, like, because the prop firm if you can find the talent and have them make money for you, that should be the goal. That's the only real sustainable goal for a prop firm without just relying on losing traders.
Yep.
It's got to be.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. Like I've got to meet quite a few traditional prop traders in London and stuff when I've been over with the team. A lot of them are on 30% profit split and 70% being in favor of the firm, right? And that's I think most people don't realize, like, that's a sustainable long-term live program. That's how it is. Right. We're not going to go that aggressive that we're going to cap you guys at 30%, right? We want to offer you better than that. But yeah, most people don't realize that like traditional prop traders, yes, they're managing more money. That's what we want to aim for as well, right? Is come in, prove your skills, get into the live program. We'll give you opportunities to earn a higher monthly salary. We'll give you opportunities to manage more capital with us. But yeah, like the 90-10 split it's really just like a way you said to kick people off the platform forever. It's like, hey, give it a shot. If you fail, bye, forever, Which that's what we want to avoid too. We want our live traders to be the ones that are working with those traditional prop traders that have been doing it for years, so you guys can make each other better. Because obviously, there's some very talented retail traders out there that could bring things to the table that the traditional guys don't see. And obviously, the traditional guys have typically way more experience than retail traders, so they can improve you as well. That's more of what we want to see. So, and then you're right. From there, if you feel like you've learned enough with us, let's say 3 years from now. If you want to go trade your own personal capital and we've given you a bunch that you feel, empowered to go do that, and you've done $300,000 in payouts with us, go do it. Best of luck. Give us a call whenever you need some help, or if you want to hop back in with our risk management team. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we'd want to see 3-4 years from now, is getting these talented traders up to multi-six-figure accounts, managing it with a team on a trading floor in London. That's really what we'd want to see.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
That's what we continue to work towards. But yeah, it's been a grind, as you know. You're in the Discord all the time. You see the stuff I'm talking about, all that good stuff. All right, some closing questions here. I always ask the traders, hey, is there anything I didn't ask today you want me to? But then I ask them, is there anything you want me to ask other traders on my next call?
Other traders, maybe some like psychology, questions. Yeah, because like everybody has their strategy or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the psychologies could be the same. Like maybe what they do to keep at a level, like a routine, or like what is their routine, maybe something like that, to keep their psychology like intact, or pregame. And that's one thing I kind of like I was doing for a little while that was helping me, was a good like pregame routine, like breath work, just stuff to get you in like the right state of mind. But sometimes I get up at 5 a.m. Like we got to get up at 5, and like it's like we don't do all that. We're half asleep, and next thing you know, you're already in like you're already like
intense environment. Yep.
Yeah, it's not good. It's good. Like I was taking a cold shower. Take a cold shower, do some like breath work, kind of get some oxygen, some caffeine, and then
And it's time to
get
go.
to the charts.
Yeah, sweet. I'll definitely add that to the next one. I did ask you before about the manipulation of hit rate versus risk reward and stuff. That was one we had from past interviews. But one they've liked a lot, and people keep recycling, is what did you spend your very first payout on? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember. No, the first I took the family to Hawaii.
Nice.
But like my other, like the thing for me, like a little trophy. I'm not materialistic, but I bought this. I don't know if you can see it.
There you go. A little bit of glare.
Hublot.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I bought the Hublot for me. My little.
I did notice it right when we got on the call together. I did notice that. So good for you. That's amazing.
Yeah, so like it's nice because like I've always, I don't know, I like watches in general. Like they don't have to be expensive, but I always loved it. Like I love the way the way they look, and it's just like it's a reminder, like hey.
Yeah, it feels earned. Yeah, you should, right?
Yeah.
You earned it, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
did it.
That's awesome. I think
yeah.
that's the answer people are looking for. So thanks for giving it to
Yeah,
us
no
there. I
problem.
know that's what people want to see. Is, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing wrong with enjoying money you worked for. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
you know,
that at all.
it's nice. It's nice.
Awesome.
It's we earned it. If you're a trader, you know what it's tough, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I wouldn't recommend trading to anybody. To be
I
honest,
know.
with
I
you.
say the same all the time. I'm like, look, it can
I was
change your
like-
life, but I agree. It is so mentally taxing.
It's funny because, like, you know, before you kind of make, you know, maybe, yeah, man, you should do this. You should, you know, like when we kind of just started, like, but now that we're kind of like on the other side of profitability, you're like, if you know what all the things I've been through,
I know.
You know?
Yeah, like that's what I more and more, right? Because I've worked with like education companies, I've worked with prop firms. I've been thankful to meet with traditional guys. You know what I mean? I've got to see like all walks of trading at this point. And I was a former engineer, and I always tell people, I'm like, look, I'm extremely happy I left the career and I've like gone down the path I have now. But I tell people all the time, I'm like, this is way harder than being a full-time engineer. You know what I mean? Like way, way, way harder. And that's considered one of the most intense 9 to 5s in the world, you know? But I would argue trading is a million times harder. And I was like, as long as you are ready for that, which I don't think you are until you actually experience it yourself, right? But just reminding people of that, like, hey, this is a lot harder than you think it is.
yeah,
It can be simple in concept, but it is really, really difficult. But nice thing is we have leverage opportunities like prop firms to make it kind of all worth our dollar amount anyways, you know?
yeah. Oh, you know what? That's what I want to talk about too. So the first, when I first started trading, 4 or 5 years, anti prop firm.
Mm.
Just because maybe some of the people I was following, you know, they always talk crap, you know, like, oh, you know, why, you know, if you're so good, why you trade your personal account and all this stuff. But like, and I was anti-prop firm by what they were trying to sell, I guess, originally when I was thinking, you know, because like the numbers are just numbers, you know, like 150K account.
Yeah.
And then, like, in your mind, if you don't really know what you're doing, or you don't understand the rules, you're like, oh man, 100K, you know, but really it's only $5,000 or whatever, $10,000.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I can't even risk, you know, I'm trying to risk this much. You know, you think you're going to change your life with one of these accounts, but if you know the rules and just take it for what it is, it's a great like stepping stone. You know, like
Huge
you could,
tool. Yeah.
it's
Huge
like
tool.
you can add, like, I've worked full, you know, like you just supplement your income. You know, you don't have to go. That's one thing. Like, you don't have to think about going pro all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like, it can help you. You know, if I would have gotten 100K, it would have helped me like go pro. I might have could have went full time. You know, but it's gonna come. But it's like, but
That's,
yeah.
that's part of our goal with the live program too. Is somebody like yourself and some others out there. It's like, hey, could this? You know what I mean? Can we help show you that this could be a career change for you? You know what I mean? We're not asking you to leave your 9 to 5 and come do this, but you know what I mean? Can we give you the tools that if this is what you really want to do, can you go do it? That's part of our goal with the live program, and obviously working with traditional traders and everything there as well.
Yeah. So if you're new, I'm gonna give you this. The one thing I would have wished I would have changed is I would have been more involved with prop firms because they have the rules it's gonna put you on the right path of like having good habits, you know, because you're gonna lose your money anyway. Let's just be real. If you put that 500 in your personal or 500 in your prop firm, you're gonna lose. It's just guaranteed. You're gonna lose all your money for a long time. Hopefully not too long, but you might as well pick up good habits. And like, unlike me, I picked up bad habits because I was taught wrong. Whoever taught me I was trading on the phone for the longest time. But yeah, you're gonna lose your money anyways. So you might as well build good habits. You know, and then these prop firms, they're gonna make you build good habits because you're gonna fail. You know, it's really the rules are there to build. You build good habits from them. You know, yeah, that's one thing I would do differently. Is I would have spent more in prop firms instead of personal. To be honest, yeah.
Awesome. I would agree. I got into prop firms like 3 years into trading, and I agree. It was like, I mean, that's really when I started making good money, is when I just turned my personal account into kind of shares. only, like getting away from options, because like options I was super volatile. I made a ton of money, lost it all, got back to break even, made a ton of money, put myself back at break even, like over and over again in that cycle.
Yeah.
You know, it was really when prop firms, when it was like you said, you can first of all manage risk a lot better because it forces you to from a trading standpoint, but then the spending standpoint, it's a predefined risk. I spend this much, can't lose more than that, right? Like I can only lose my valuation fee. So that helped me a ton. So I mean, I say it at the end of every call, but like if you're a retail trader not trading props, I don't get it either. I really, really don't. I don't get it. So that's obviously why we do stuff like this, is so I'm not the only one saying it, obviously representing a company. Hear the other traders say it too. I totally agree. If you're a retail trader not trading props at this point, you got to ask, what are you doing? Or maybe you just haven't been introduced to it yet. So hopefully Alpha can be the thing that introduces you to it. And this interview with Bryce hopefully turns some heads and wakes some people up.
Yeah. I do have a question for you too, though, because I'm kind of curious. But
Sure.
so did you find that was there a break even period for you, and how long was it, or did you just flip, or you just? Because for me, there was really no. I think that's why my reason why I think people quit, because you just lose. Like I just lost. Like I never really, like in poker, I at least broke even after an early time where I'm kind of like floating, but like with trading, I just lost until you finally like flip a switch, and then you just start winning. Like I don't know. Did you have a break even period that much, or?
So yeah, it was a lot. It was more like ping pong for me. Like I never went in a whole bunch of money or anything, but it was like very small profitable years. Then I'd go up huge on the year, bring it all the way back to a very small profitable year. So I did have like my first few years were incredibly small profitable, but I kept like showing myself I could build an account. Like I flipped an options account up over 6 figures, then lost it all the way back down to like 10K. You know what I mean? So I still ended the year up like 3-4 grand. But so like it's a profitable year, but it did not feel that way. You know what I mean? So I kind of went through that a lot with options. So it really was like I knew I had the skill there that whole time, right? Because to flip an account up to like 6 figures, there's got to be something there, right? Especially when I did it. Especially when I did it again, I was like, okay, the first time wasn't luck, then just being an idiot and driving it all the way back down again. Prop firms, I didn't have that opportunity to drive the account all the way back down to like 10 grand, So that's really when for me it was just like ping pong, and then just stayed up, because prop firms I didn't have the opportunity to drive the account back down to a starting point or something, So that's kind of what it was for me. So yeah, it was somewhat break even, slightly profitable if you want to really check the numbers that whole time. Didn't feel like it at all though. You know what I mean?
Especially.
Props for me are really what I started to separate. You know what I mean? Like really start to gain and feel like everything I'd worked for was finally making sense and coming to some you know what I mean, scalable income.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I hope. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what you guys are gonna bring with the live, because like I don't want to get kicked out of like all these prop firms. Like Apex stopped me. I can't buy it from Apex anymore after like in the MFF, and which is fine, just as long as you pay me and then kick me out. But like no, but yeah, a lot of them. That's that's where the industry seems like they're going. They kind of like shut you out.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think we need to find, and the firms need to find a way too. Is you know what I mean? It needs to be like a traditional firm where the traders are making money and you take a good chunk of it. That's what I mean. I think the 90-10 is why they have to kick people off right now. I don't think that can last and continue to have a productive live program for both sides. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean we've mapped out a whole plan and stuff I can't share with you yet. I shared with you a little bit about what I mean, what we've got in the pipeline and stuff. But yeah, we think we've built a plan that you guys will be pleased with, and again, keeps you around, because the idea is like we want to keep you around for years. That's why we want to work with a monthly salary. We expect you to try to stay with us for at least a year as a live trader. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds awesome, man.
And that's what we want. If it doesn't happen, okay, like we have a team that you have risk management calls with, you have account reviews with, and these are guys that have been on a trading floor for 20 plus years. So like if you listen to them, you should be able to correct your mistakes, you know what I mean, and then continue to chug along. That is the hope.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Sweet. All right, Bryce. Well, we just hit the 1 hour mark. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you got kids and everything at home,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I appreciate you giving the time so much, man. This has been great. I know a lot of good insight, Jason, even from my end, learning from you. I know you're going to do a bunch more payouts with us. We're very happy to have you with us. Anything else you want to close with? Anything else you got on your mind?
No, just don't give up. Don't give up. If you're in it already, don't give up. It's just,
There you go.
It's gonna get
Awesome.
there.
Well,
All
everybody that's watching this on YouTube, guys, please make sure to drop us a like, hit that subscribe button, and drop us any questions in the comments. I do try to go through them after these trader interviews. So if you have any for Bryce in particular, I'll gladly just ping him on Discord and see if I can get an answer from him too. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we will catch you guys in the next video.